We're speaking with Rohan Jayaweera, the Sri Lanka Country Consultant for Google Asia Pacific. Hi Rohan, thank you very much for joining us on Talking Economics. Just before we started this interview, you said that in the last 6 months, innovation has become one of the most used and abused words in Sri Lanka. Surely that's a good thing.
Yeah, well, yes and no, as always. And first of all, thank you so much for having me. I just wanted to tell a little bit about the innovation part. I myself have gone around and spoke to so many people and made so many presentations around innovations over the last 6 months, or actually last 10 months. It's actually, yes, you're right, it's amazing that people are so interested about it, but at the same time, it's almost like now it's becoming like a fad, that people are just speaking about it a lot, but I really don't see from the speaking to action a lot had happened. So I just want to take a moment and I just want to explain to you what for me is innovation. I mean, innovation is something that if you look at, there are multiple companies who are world famous for its capability of innovation. The most common example is Apple. Now, why is Apple innovation so important? Because people feel from a product innovation standpoint, they are by far the most superior company in the world. But at the same time, there is a counter-argument as well. The counter-argument is that what exactly did Apple ever innovate? They were almost all the time reinventors of category. They are very good at reinventing a category for a product that existed, that people never really figured out that they needed. And Apple's strength is always understanding the ergonomics and the human feel, or how humans would want to use a product. And hats off to them. But last 12 months, if you really look at it, there were other new companies not far behind Apple, but who were considered second, third in the world for innovation have come up. For example, Google is a classic example. I think Google had innovated the driverless car, and this product that everyone is buzzing about called Google Glass, I feel really put them ahead of Apple for the last 12 months, in my own personal opinion. So, what does innovation mean? For me, innovation is number of things. Innovation is your capability to create a need that as humans, as consumers, as users, we didn't know that it existed. It's also your capability of shortening a supply chain, or more efficiently using a supply chain, more efficiently using your human capital. It could be all of these above for an organization. But ultimately, innovation drives a very interesting fact: how to stay relevant in an economy or in a marketplace which is getting crowded by every second, every minute. And that is really, really true, simply because, like, if you take the invention of the search engines in the world, the internet and knowledge economy, etc., what's happening is that everything that you could create today, I probably can do it better by tomorrow, and I probably will know how to do it better, etc. So most of the time, your capability to be continuously creating things is more or less going to end up being the only competitive advantage you need to be successful, and the only one you have to build for yourself. And I think I'm seeing that again and again in the world, and as well as in Sri Lanka. The problem, I'll take a moment and explain what I feel about innovation in Sri Lanka. I think when we were discussing, you mentioned about that Sri Lanka is known for its process innovation, more so and less so for product innovation, and I think completely agree with you. I don't think we have done a remarkably good job, existing companies or new companies, at creating new products that people fall in love with and they really want to adopt, and also even have a global impact. But most of the supply chains, software developers have been extremely successful in the software companies have been really successful in making their supply chain or processes very, very shortened or creative, that they have been able to stay relevant. And I think a couple of big manufacturing names come to my head. For me, that's not good enough. And I think we are surrounded by Indian Ocean, and then we are also surrounded by a couple of countries where there's a population oceans, so to speak. We got India, 1.2 billion, we got Bangladesh, Pakistan on either side, and then the closest, China is a lot more closer to us than any other country as well, if you really think about it. So for a 21 million population, as a country, what do we need to do to stay relevant? Yes, we aspire to be the next Singapore, next Malaysia in the world, but we haven't really thought through what would it allow us to be that. And I think for a smaller country with a smaller population, the opportunity for us to innovate and the need to innovate is much higher, just to stay relevant. And the good thing is that because we are such a smaller population, we also have the capacity to leapfrog technology, trends, transition points. We can capture transition points much higher. And there's proof about the fact that we launched so many technologies ahead of its time. So because of that, I think for us, innovation is a mandatory thing, as well as something we need to continuously put a lot of focus on. As companies, as blue chip companies in the country, I haven't come across a lot of people putting a lot of effort and getting this right. Yes, everybody talks about it, I think, but there's a huge gap between what you say and what you do. And I think personally I haven't seen a lot of companies doing that. That hopefully need to improve a lot. The second part of it is, as a country, I don't think we have put down the right seeds to create innovative generation. And I think we should do it now more than ever. For the last 4-5 years, we have enjoyed peace. People don't have the insecurities about traveling, moving around and life uncertainties anymore. Now here's an opportunity for a generation to come and really do things very differently. And I think for me that could also be innovation. And I think our responsibility is to continuously encourage and support all this thinking around. How do we sustain it is another angle of another point that I wanted to speak about. We have fundamentally a number of challenges. I myself come from one of the universities in Sri Lanka. I have been very critical about the need to change over the last 1 year or so after I returned from Singapore. I don't think our system at the moment supports innovative thinking or even allows kids to take that risk of innovation. It's more like a spoon-fed kind of a system that is made available, and we seems to be consistently missing what the global demand is versus what we've been told or what we think the kids should be good at. I think those are fundamentally something that we need to fix. I'm sure that takes a lot of long time of policy changes and stuff, things like that, but that's really important.
Rohan, I want to ask you a couple of questions. One is, you work for a company that is well known for its creativity, letting the workforce really explore that creativity, and as a result of that comes world-class leading products. What do you think a company like Google, what kind of lessons does it have for creating such an innovation culture when you zoom out and at a national level? Are there lessons for us to learn from how innovation is driven in companies? As to how we can drive innovation in countries?
No, I think that's a very interesting point. There are, luckily for us, we have a lot of multinational companies who are present in this country and much longer than they've been present in a country like India. Unfortunately, more often than not, we mistake the products and services these multinationals offer are the gains for our country, which is not. My personal opinion is these multinational companies offer, or they have a level of knowledge, know-how, which are actually the most important things we should carve out from these companies. And I don't think we have done that very well. More often than not, we consider them as a sales office, and we only just think about sales and all that, but the know-how and the innovation and the technology, the R&D and even the basic curriculum that they have under their companies are not used or being exploited as much as we should, and that's something we should change. Every company, every multinational company has a fantastic know-how and processes that is made available, and I think we should make a conscious effort to get to know about it as much as possible. I just want to make one more point about it. Currently, I've been blessed and I'm very humble that I represent one of the best companies that you could think of in the world, and that company is known for its innovation. they have something called the 9 notions of innovation.
The nine notions
of innovation. And this is something we have been speaking to people about, and we have been sharing the ideas. It's not a universe denting, paradigm shifting material, but if you really like the core is just creating the right kind of environment, allowing people to think outside the box type of concepts. But it's amazing how a lot of companies don't allow that and don't get that right. And we believe that we got it right, but if with some level of localization, if companies and people can adopt it, even in Sri Lanka can really benefit from it. One of the criticisms I got some time back, a couple of weeks back when I spoke about this is, oh yeah, because you can do it because you guys have so much money. But that is not true. I think it's not about the money. I think it's just about changing your mindset about how things should be looked at, how you can get people to collaborate on ideas, and how much of a freedom that you allow inside the organization.